They'll look at me like, you idiot. Right. This is Rob Thompson, Mike Scharfenberg, GamePlanU Today, interview with influencers. It's Monday, July 13th. July 13th? Did I get that right?
Yes, I had to double check that one, but yeah, July 13th.
level 7 of Jumanji. We're still kind of coming on the back end of this. We got so much to talk about. Happy Monday, Mike.
Happy Monday. Happy Monday, Rob. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend and ready to attack the week.
Yeah, we got a great guest today, and we're really, really super excited. Not only is it a guest, but it's also a new member of our advisory board at GamePlanU, Jim Kahler, and he is a absolute. I know he's embarrassed, but I can say this because he's in the back room right now. Absolute legend in the industry, especially the sport management in higher education at Ohio University, which is the top ranked sport management college in the world. You could see that the tree and the direct industry executives that have come out of that program, it's a who's who. Everybody, from athletic directors to teams to leagues to media, it all kind of points back to Ohio with this legendary program. And we're so thrilled to have Jim on today to talk about what he's up to, what's happening now in the kind of the sports betting space. And we'll talk about what he's kind of doing there. But tonight at 6:00, we have on our first show is the summer series. And the summer series with sports technology, it's Monday night at 6 p.m. And we're talking about betting and gaming and fantasy sports, and founders then in that space are going to be on tonight. So we'll be able to discuss that tonight at 6:00. So the summer series is Monday nights, 6:00, right up until August 10th. It's a series of founders, influencers, executives in sports technology. We're going to be talking about what's happening now. We're going to be talking about their careers, their startup stories. Anybody that's interested in the sports industry, whether you're currently in it, whether you're a high school student that's exploring it as a discovery of a career, it's ideal. If you are a college student and you're an undergrad and you're still looking to figure out where you fit in, this is ideal as a different place in the segment within the industry. So as well as, let's not forget, Mike, the networking opportunities to meet these founders, so all of this is happening within the next, 5 Mondays throughout the summer. And if you wanted to register 100%, this is something that we want to offer to you today. It's go to GamePlanU.mykajabi.com, which is just an online platform that we use for some of our online courses, and use the code word is webinar for free. So we're going to give you complimentary, and I guess you could call it registration fees for this. So you could sign up for all 5 starting this evening. You could select which dates you're going to be available. So anyways, if you're in quarantine still, you're looking for things to do, you still want to stay connected and in touch and tuned into the industry, this is absolutely free for you to do that. So anyways, without further ado, Michael, any final thoughts before we jump and we bring Jim in?
I just think, talking about things heating up, I mean, this is the perfect opportunity, with leagues coming back. There's just so many, different innovative creations and platforms and sport technology coming out. And, every day there's a new platform coming out. And I think this is that time to take the time and learn about it. It's 6:00 at night. What are you doing? You could be playing video games with your friends online, or you could be betting yourself and learning. The learning never stops. So, looking forward to seeing everyone there tonight.
Let's just jump into it. Let's bring Jim in. So, Jim Kahler is someone that we're really excited about to be part of GamePlanU as an advisor to help us connect opportunities with career seekers. So, live from there he is from his office. How you doing, Jim?
Great to be with you live from Athens, Ohio.
There it is, Athens, Ohio. It's great to have you on here. So, Jim, I'm going to let you guys kind of roll on, and I'm going to bounce out for a second. But thanks again for joining us, and we'll catch you back up at the end of this interview.
All right, Rob. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Jim. Well, again, thank you for taking the time to join us. Very excited and a privilege for me as somebody just getting into the industry to be able to speak with somebody like you. So just a little bit about your background. You spent 11 years or so with the Cleveland Cavaliers, right, as the senior VP of sales and marketing, then worked your way back to your alma mater, right, at Ohio University, and as the executive director of sport administration. So I think I want to take a step back before we get into what you're doing today with Ohio. We like to start every podcast, and every guest we have is everyone in the sport industry has their own path, right? And everyone's journey is a little bit different. So I would just love to hear a little bit about yours. So you graduated from Ohio U. How did you get your start in sports, and how did that lead to getting your position with the Cavaliers?
Yeah, Michael, I might even go back before OU. I was a student athlete at Xavier University, where I had an undergrad in marketing, and found out that Ohio University had a master's degree in sports. And when I found that out, I'm like, that's the ticket. How do I get in there? But our athletic director at Xavier at the time helped me get a summer internship with the Cincinnati Reds. So this is way back in summer of '79. And what a great experience. And the Reds were still the big red machine, but I did their fan marketing research project and would hand out questionnaires at different gates. And literally when they would come in, I would tally them all up and had to put the report together at the end of the season. So that, I believe, helped me get into Ohio University's program. Post Ohio, I did a internship with Riverfront Coliseum in Cincinnati, which later became US Bank Arena. I'm not sure what it is today, and started out as the director of sales and promotions. So I like to tell a lot of students that when I first went to Ohio University, I thought I was going to be the next general manager of the Cleveland Browns, but I had a secondary interest in facility management and marketing. And that was the route that got me going along the way. So if you want me to trace the rest of it, I can do that quickly. But my first break was the internship in Cincinnati at the Coliseum that led to a full-time job.
I love that. And you just, it's taking any opportunity you have to get your foot in the door, right? And you just got to just make the most of it and impress who you can. And I love that. I think it is also important for, sport management and anyone looking to get into sports to know, it's great to have that goal of wanting to be the GM, but there's only a certain amount of teams out there, right? So I think, once you realize that, then you could start searching for on the business side, something you're interested in. So how about, let's fast forward to you started with the Cavs, right? Tell us a little bit about your role with them, what you did with them.
Well, it was really an exciting time for me in Cleveland. We were building a new arena in downtown Cleveland. So I worked a couple of seasons at the old building out in Richfield. But at the time, it seemed like everybody in the NBA was putting together a new arena. So that allowed us to get our revenues up to be more competitive with the rest of the league when you're taking your luxury suites from the top of the rafters in Richfield and moving them down to 14 rows off the court. And I basically oversaw all of the sales and marketing activities for the team and the arena. So it opened as Gund Arena. It was named after our owner, Gordon Gund. He had the right to put his own money down on naming rights, which he did. And a wonderful time in Cleveland sports history with the Indians opening their new ballpark across the street. We brought the 1997 NBA All-Star Game to Cleveland. And we're also one of the original 8 in the WNBA. So my hometown, it was truly a dream job for me. But then a guy by the name of Sean Kemp came along, and he sped up my exit strategy to academia. Because one day I thought I would go back and teach. I didn't think I would be doing it in my mid-40s, but it was time. It was time to move on.
Yeah, and what an exciting time, for Cleveland and for the Cavs. I know I am actually, I'm from Connecticut, but I am a Cavs fan. So
right.
back with the days of Mark Price, Brad Daugherty, Larry Nance Sr., the glory days. So so you kind of led right into my next question, right, of returning to your alma mater. So tell me a little bit about what led you to want to go back into higher ed, or to go into higher ed, and what you're currently doing with Ohio University.
Well, first off, I was recruited to go out to Arizona State prior to Ohio University to help them start a new program. Was an MBA with a specialization in sports business. And then 3.5 years later, I get recruited to come back to Ohio because we were starting a Center for Sports Administration. So that's our AECOM, Center for Sports Administration. And that was really just to take what was started in 1966 and amplify it with stronger connections to the industry, more research projects, consulting projects, and getting better connected with our alumni, which are a very strong force in the industry. So I came back here in December of 2005, and now about 14 and a half years into it.
Yeah, no, and what a great journey. It probably feels like a blink, and if time flies when you're having fun. So tell me a little bit about some of the things you're doing today in regards to programs you're running with Ohio U in sport technology, things of that nature.
Okay, so July 1st, I stepped down as my role as the center director. I'm still an executive in residence and member of the faculty, but I'm excited to tell you that I am the new director of our sports gambling education program. So if any of your listeners are out there, they want to check it out, it's just sportsgamblingeducation.com. But we've started a program to educate initially college athletic administrators on what the sports gambling industry is all about. In years past, if you mention sports gambling to a college AD, they would just shirk and run like, oh, I don't want to even talk about it. But it is quickly, as you guys know, it's going to be a $500 billion a year industry. And you better be brought up to speed, and you better be educating your top administrators, your executive team, and your student athletes, because it's got to be done right. And I'm with you. It's going to do a lot for game enhancement. It's going to do a lot for sponsorship revenue, but at the same time, it has to have integrity. And we're partnering up with a company out of Las Vegas called US Integrity, and they do a lot of work across the college and professional space to monitor the activities within and around sports gambling.
Yeah, I think that you hit the nail on the head. You have to regulate it, right? And you have to be able to do it responsibly. You see in Europe where it's been legal for a while, and there's issues all around there. So I love what you guys are doing. So now I think I want to, take a step and pivot a little bit to the core of this podcast, right? Which is career seekers. Mm-hmm. I think now more than ever, at least in my lifetime, this time is it's such a challenging time, especially to get into sports. I can't think of a more difficult time. However, I think in everyone's career, there are challenges, right? So I would love to hear about what was your biggest challenge in your career, and how did you overcome that? What advice would you give to career seekers when looking to overcome those challenges?
Okay, so if you look at my background, I was the director of marketing at the St. Louis Arena. And probably my biggest challenge was making a decision to move on. So the company that I was working for lost the contract. And the city of St. Louis said, don't worry, you're going to be a St. Louis City employee. And Spectacor said, no, don't worry, you'll come with us. If they don't adopt the contract, you go elsewhere. At the same time, I had worked with a company that today is Feld Motorsports, and they wanted me to come in and be their vice president of corporate sales, making more money than I thought I was entitled to. But at the same time, the product line was not glamorous. I mean, we're talking stadium supercross, monster truck races, truck and tractor polls, and the United States Hot Rod Association. So that was a risk, but it paid off and led me to back home to Cleveland. And then I think my message to your students and followers listening in, career seekers, is don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone. Okay. We're not all going to work for the Yankees and the Lakers. And if you can get at a young age, a set of responsibilities is much greater than what you would get with a pro team at the time. I was 30 years of age. Jump on it and go in there and make the most out of it. So I think the advice I would have is get out of that comfort zone. And there's no better time in your career to make a mistake, should you make a mistake, than when you're young. And don't be afraid to take on additional responsibilities.
I absolutely love that. It's that was the advice Rob gave me as one of my mentors getting in the industry, is those transferable skills. You may not like what you're doing, but the skills you're developing, they're gonna help you get that job with the higher level team. So I absolutely love that. I think now too. So building off that advice for career seekers, obviously right now, there are very few teams hiring. But that's going to change, right? And then when teams do start to look to bring on, new staff members, there's a lot of great professionals out there that got furloughed or that got let go. So you're not only going to be competing against, your graduating class of 2020, but you're going to be competing with these guys who've been in the industry for a while, right? So what advice would you give to career seekers right now about things they could do today to best prep themselves for when things open up with the industry?
Well, the younger people coming right out of school, let's kind of zero in there. They've got a toolbox, and along the way, they acquired some tools and skills, and they put things in that toolbox. I would say that now's a wonderful time to enhance your education. And I'm not talking about necessarily going back to grad school or spending a lot of money, but there are tutorials and all kinds of learning opportunities out there for you to pick up new skill sets. So when you look at some of the jobs that are being offered and are posted right now, read every job description and ask yourself, if that's an area of interest that I have, what can I do to get more qualified in that area? So there's a lot of search engine optimization and some of the things that you wouldn't find in normal curriculums. What a wonderful time to dig in, so that during an interview, someone can say, well, what have you been doing during COVID? Well, I've been putting more tools in my toolbox. I'm glad you asked, because feeling sorry for yourself, you're going to get left behind. It's the people that take the initiative to really put more tools in their toolbox that are going to get ahead. Yeah.
I mean, I advocate, if you're a listener of this show, I advocate for networking, right? And it's taking every opportunity that you have to grow and get better. I think one last question I have, and this is something I'm curious about as well, with my background in sales as well as yours. And I think, you would agree when I say the way into sports is through inside sales. It's through the field of sales. So can you speak a little bit to sales and what your interest is in that, and why you're an advocate of that and helping to get career seekers into the sport industry?
Well, first off, it's getting easier. Okay. So some people are like, well, what do you mean it's getting easier? I think the marketing side of the business is getting so laser focused on finding quality leads that it's actually inside sales today is a lot easier than it was 5 years ago. But don't go in and just go through the motions. Be a sponge and absorb everything you can around it. Find out what the latest technology is going to be and study up on that. Get a good understanding of where the marketing department is getting their leads and their CRM and how everything around it works, because inside sales is going to continue to evolve. And it keeps me up at night sometimes, because I think the staffs of 14, 5-6 years from now, they're going to be staffs of 4 or 5, because artificial intelligence is going to flip the model where consumers are going to be calling the teams based on the email marketing. So if you're a young person going in the inside sales now, really study up on the marketing side of it and the messaging and the customization of the messages that are going out to prospective ticket holders. I
completely agree with that. I think, Jim, if you have time for one more question.
Sure, absolutely.
I always love to end with this question. If you could give yourself advice, right? You're just out of college and you're looking to get into the sport industry. If there was one piece of advice that you could give yourself, what would that be?
Probably to realize that there are more people out there willing to help, and you're not a pest. Okay. So that the networking that you're talking to, there's a lot of good people in our industry that don't mind sharing, that don't mind scheduling calls, especially during COVID. I've been blown away at how our alumni are taking care of our students. So if you're going to be shy when it comes to networking, the person from the other program is going to get ahead of you. So don't be shy. Get comfortable networking. So if that's going to push you out of your comfort zone, the best thing you can do today is, maybe practice on some people that aren't as high on your list of people you want in your network, but go build that network and get used to talking to strangers. I eventually got it, and our program is really good at facilitating that. But if I could have ramped that up when I was 22, 23 years old, I'd go back and ramp it up.
I completely agree. I think you just, like you said, you got to be, and you've stressed it a bunch, you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, right? Put yourself in those situations, and that's the only way you're going to grow. If you don't put yourself out of your comfort zone, you're never going to achieve what your full aspirations are. So I think,
and don't forget, you bring value too. I mean, because a lot of these teams want to learn more about social and digital. The younger audience knows a lot more about it than they do. So, so you do bring value.
Yep, 100%.
Very true. All right. Well, listen, we have one more question for you from one of our viewers. From Annie, are you creating lab environment at Ohio U for students to also learn about and build technology platforms for what you're doing within the gambling space?
We're not building them today. I see that in the future. We do have a group on campus that builds out games and gaming technology. But I think one of our advantages at Ohio is that a lot of our alumni work with us and let us play with their platforms. So we're quick to put like a MVP index as a social and digital media measurement index. And it's part of our curriculum, but it's because of the relationships that we've built out. So if Annie has a piece of technology and she wants to track me down, I'm all ears. I'd love to listen to her.
Oh, awesome. I appreciate it. Annie's a really a great entrepreneur, and she's got a lot of things happening in her space. So we appreciate your time. We appreciate all our viewers and all our listeners today and their time and the questions. Please feel free to leave any comments. We'll follow up with it later on. We'll also put a link in there. And like Jim said, reach out to him on LinkedIn and connect with him. This is much more than just an informational tool and platform. This is a place for you to network and find other people in the industry that maybe you didn't know about before. So Jim, thanks. Any final thoughts? Any final words, Jim?
No, I'm looking forward to tuning in tonight to see what you're doing in the sports gambling space, and would encourage your listeners to, right now there are jobs in that sector of the industry. So go to Indeed or wherever you go and put a trace on it, because there are certainly jobs out there in sports gambling with money that maybe would go to tickets. Sitting on the couch, putting a little pizza bet down on a game, it's going to be a very important vertical in our industry.
Yeah. I was going to say, and plug for one of our guests tonight. I actually know he's looking to bring on Ryan Nupples, looking to bring on three members to his team. So awesome. just to echo what you were saying, you'll be able to network with one of those guys tonight that's looking to hire. So
cool. And I really love what you guys are doing in this space, and looking forward to coming on your advisory board, and maybe we can put something special together for high school kids. Because, when people say, well, if I would have known about sports business when, it's been around a long time, but now it's starting to work its way into the high schools. And I think there's a real opportunity for us to do some good work there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. So last one is sportsgamblingeducation.com. Did I get that right? That's where you can find out more information.
You got it. And we got a little webinar going on Wednesday at 2:00 talking about sponsorships in sports gambling. So if any of your folks out there are really interested in sponsorships, they should be able to find that on that website.
Jim, thank you again for your time. We really appreciate it.
All right. You guys have a good day. Thank you.
All right. On behalf of Mike, Jim, this is Rob over here. You're watching GamePlanU today. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.